continue with looking at the new 5e 2024 rule set, the Player's Handbook. I'm going to take the character that I built yesterday. I did test it out a little bit. I made a mistake on the damage. I thought that the rule set wasn't working properly, but I went back and retracted my statement. So I asked for some, what happened and that sort of thing. And then I went back and audited my log here. I noticed that I applied the attack roll to the wrong zombie. So if you watch the other video, this is kind of an errata to that. So nothing wrong there. I did find a strange console error that's going to be addressed and a couple other things. So the point being is that I'd like you guys to report your problems and errors and stuff into the Fantasy Grounds forums, because there's no way it's going to get fixed if we just rant and rave and throw our hands up in the air. So if you have the time and the ability to do so, please make sure that you report it on the Fantasy Grounds forums, because it could just be a simple misunderstanding. It doesn't always a bug or a problem. Obviously, yesterday I made a mistake that I dropped the damage or the attack roll on the wrong creature, and then I was expecting to get the critical damage from it, and when I rolled it, it didn't do it. So it's because I targeted or I used the wrong person or the wrong target. So this is things that happen when you are first testing out a new change to a rule set. And as a matter of fact, if you're new and you haven't touched the new rule set yet, when you first sign in to Fantasy Grounds, it'll ask you if you want to use the 2024 rules or not, and you can opt out of that. You don't have to say yes, and if you do on accident or you weren't paying attention, you can actually go back into the settings and switch it back over to your current rule set. So if you go to the settings up here on the upper right and scroll down a little bit, and then you'll see a rules variation. So game rules version, and this is in the game section. So I have mine set to 2024, but you can go to legacy or you can go back to 2024. So if you're in a game right now that has a lot of older content or third-party stuff, hey, what's up, Sven? I would leave it on legacy and wait until at least till you finish that, as the main changes are going to be character creation. So when you go to level up, that sort of thing, those sort of things are a little different in the 2024 rules. Technically, though, it should still work if you have your content loaded, but I haven't tested it yet, and I'm sure there's going to be little complications here and there. So make sure that you document it, take screenshots, whatever you got to do to get the information out to the masses so that you can get those things fixed and addressed. Otherwise, we're just going to be, mucking about until, Kingdom Come, and we're not going to know what's fixed and what isn't and all that kind of stuff. So another thing is check your updates daily before you start messing about. I would honestly create a separate, different campaign setting or a campaign for testing this stuff out before you fully adopt it. So I would create a 2024 campaign, use the character wizard, play around with it. That's kind of what I'm doing now. This is, showing how to build a character and that kind of thing, but also it gives me the opportunity to check things out and to make sure things are working. And if I see something, I'll report it. And obviously I made the mistake yesterday of reporting the wrong thing, but my intentions were good. I just didn't realize that I had dropped the damage or the attack roll on the wrong creature. So I thought that the critical hits and damage was broken, but it wasn't. It was me. I'm the one who was broken. But right now I have Braylum here, Rockfist. He's a level 1 fighter dwarf, and I am using the 2024 rule set. So if you need to change this back to legacy, if you're not ready to go forward with that yet, just go back to legacy. It should still be good. This kind of, I don't know what this does. It changes some of the fields, I think. I'm not sure exactly how this toggle works, but it's supposed to help designate, what type of campaign you want to run. So if you want to start a new campaign, and use the 2024 content, I would wait another week or two so that Smiteworks and Wizards of the Coast and whoever else is involved can make their updates, because there's some errata coming down and all kinds of stuff. So I don't have full faith in the rule set yet. It needs to be tested, needs to be played around with, and that sort of thing. There's no way to test for that. When you sign up to do the test for Fantasy Grounds, if you don't have any content, which we didn't at the time, it was, there was like an SRD type thing, but it's really difficult to check all these little things because there's so many. Throw up your rock fist if you're feeling it when I drop this. Show them how we blow the spot. Let's make it hot. Let's shock them with the body rock till the party starts. Hey, that's pretty good. Sven, I think I'm going to make a song out of that, and I'll send it to you. But yeah, Braylon Rockfist is a level 1 dwarf fighter. I made him yesterday using the 2024 rules, and this is just kind of a test thing. I'm not a big fan or anything right now. I just wanted to test this out and see what's going on. This was something that I'd like to, kind of share with you, so you guys can kind of preview it before you jump in. And that's really all I'm trying to do. I don't necessarily promoting Wizards of the Coast or anything like that. Even though I have this big fancy gold logo and a new theme, I'm still a fan of Fantasy Grounds, regardless of the rule set. So that's my main endeavor here, is to kind of go through some of this stuff. So Braylon here is on the combat tracker. He was wounded. So last time we had him, I basically we were in the middle of a combat, and this zombie actually went down. So he's basically wounded. And so he's dead. So I'm going to go ahead and delete him off the combat tracker. So this is a continuation from yesterday. We kind of had a small skirmish just to check things out. So I'll go ahead and I'm going to delete this item. And when you do so, at least behind these iconic kind of markers to let you know that something went down there. But if you want to get rid of those or they drive you nuts, there's a clear death markers up here on the toolbar if you drop this down, and that'll get rid of those for you. I kind of prefer the blood splatters, but these are zombies, so, who knows. But anyway, so my character is barely alive here. He's got 13 hit points, 5 wounds, so let's just pretend that he is going to be a candidate to level up. So we're not going to worry too much about the reasons why and what, but we're going to level him up today. So we'll just say the DM says, okay, you made it past this section. You can now level up to level 3. So there's nothing stopping a player from doing that. There's no controls in place. It's just kind of a gentleman's agreement. And this is just something that you'll have to get used to when you're playing with Fantasy Grounds and the 5e rule set. So this hasn't changed much for the character wizard and for the rule set. So I want to take, and first I'm going to go to the menu over here, and what I want to do is go to rest, and we're going to do a long rest. So he's going to camp out here, and he's basically healed now. He doesn't have any damage, and it kind of resets the combat tracker, and there's nothing on here now except for him. And this is a quick map that I'm using from the Fantasy Grounds art pack. So I kind of like this. It's just a basic dungeon with some texture and some props. I think this is a Josh thing that he put together, which I really like this. And this is something you can use if you don't have anything prepared. So I kind of like that idea. And then if you wanted to link together, more of a prepared session, you can link your encounters to this map or image. But in this case, I didn't have anything prepared. So are you using a DM variant or player version of FGU? This is a GM. This is a DM thing. So this is not a player view. So I haven't even tested that part yet. All right. So basically, this is the character sheet, and what I'm going to do is click on this little gear tab here, and this is the class and levels section, where if you're going to use the drag and drop, you can just drag the fighter class over, and keep doing that in succession, and it'll level you up. The experience points and the next level, they're just bookkeeping. They don't do anything. So if you put in, let's say 900 here, it's not going to change anything. And changing this number over on the left doesn't do anything either. You have to actually drag this class in here or drag it from the sidebar over here for the data. But in this case, we're going to use the character wizard because that's what I started with, and I want to test it out because despite what we may think or believe about it, I know that Dominic's put a lot of work into it, and we're not ever going to be able to fully get a good handle on it unless we use it and we report any changes or problems that we're having, because there are specific builds and different combinations that may not work out. So that's really what we're testing for in the long run, is all those little ifs, ands, and buts. I think I remember when I first started the Classic 5e, there was a lot of little issues that got smoothed out over time. So it's not an overnight process, and I know Moon Wizard's going to start adding back some of the automation and some of the things that we were used to from the previous rule set. I think the main thing is get the character sheet working and to get the character wizard up and going. But I know they were pressed for time or something like that. So anyhow, what I'm going to do is level up by using the character wizard. So this button over here on the right is how you can do that. So I'll go ahead and click level up. And this also assumes that you have the book activated. So before you do any leveling up or character building, you want to make sure that the modules are loaded. So even as a player, when your GM shares this to you, you need to have this active and open before you do this. Because if you start this without the books, there is a possibility that it's not going to pull in the data. So if you've got a bunch of books that you want to use to create your character or to level up, make sure those are activated and shared before you do anything else. So I just wanted to throw that out there. So the next thing is we're going to go to level up. And if you click that, it goes up to level 2. And it doesn't allow you to select the level, which is something that the older character wizard did, which is fine. I don't mind. I don't mind doing incrementally because there's steps and that sort of thing. So you get an action surge at this point for being a fighter and a tactical mind. So action surge just gives you an extra turn essentially. And tactical mind gives you it's a kind of an ability to help you for tactics on and off the battlefield. So if you fail an ability check, you can expend one of your second wind options to push yourself towards success. So rather than regaining hit points when you roll a 1d10, you can roll against and put it on your ability check, and you can turn it into a success. So that's kind of a cool add-on. So that's one of the things they've changed and updated recently. So you get action surges. It says once you use the feature, you can do so on a short or long rest, which is nice. And at level 17, much further down the road, you can use it twice. So that's a kind of a cool thing that's kind of balanced. So I kind of like that you can switch it out. Like you don't necessarily need to heal, but you want to make sure one of your ability checks succeed. So that's kind of a cool thing. It's minor, but it is kind of cool. And then once you've done that, and there's no other things you need to satisfy, then you just hit commit. And then you look over the changes, so things are getting updated or added. So these are the features, and we're going to go ahead and hit save. So that should now finalize the changes, and that writes to the database. So once you're at this point, you can't make any changes without starting over or going back and manually fixing it. So make sure you look it over before you commit. So now we're at level 2, but I want to go to level 3 because that's when we start getting our archetypes. So that's the whole point of doing this video. So let's go back to the process again. So the front of the character sheet, a little gear cog next to the proficiency box. We click on that, and if you're a player, ask your GM before you initiate this, but if you're in the build mode, you can do it incrementally. So in this case, we'll go to level up and back to the character wizard, and we're going to click on the level up button. And now we get to choose our subclass. So if I click on that, we get to pick from these that comes out of the player's handbook. So we got Battle Master, Champion, Eldritch Knight, and Psy Warrior. So I'm going to do either the Battle Master or the Champion. I'm more familiar with those. I do know somewhat about the Eldritch Knight, and the Psy Warrior, I never was really a fan of it. I mean, it's cool, but I don't know, it doesn't jive with me for some reason. I don't know why, but and then when there are other books that come out, you can select which source you want to pick from at this point. But since it's only the player's handbook right now, you're not going to have those drop downs for 2024. Now, if you're doing Legacy, that might be a little different, but in this case, this is something that is for this particular build. So all we're getting right now is these options that come out of the player's handbook, and that's the only book we have loaded. And if you want to read about these, like the Battle Master, you get these learning, you get martial techniques, you get those kind of things. And then for the champion, you have martial prowess, and you can combine rigorous training with physical excellence to deal devastating blows. So this is kind of a choice that you have to make, like what style of player do you want. And I think for this case, this is a dwarven fighter, so probably Battle Master makes sense. You can do either or, but I'll do the Battle Master in this case, so I'll click that. And now it gives you these drop downs of all the different things you get. So for level 1, you get to pick a fighting style. So I think here are some boons and some different things. So if you can go to the player's handbook as your source, and if it's category, you can go to fighting style, so that will narrow down this list. And then if you know the name of it, you can search here. So I imagine once the more books come out, you're going to have several choices. So this is the different things that they have for this particular build. So I'm going to go with defense. I think he's more of a defensive fighter, and that's kind of what I had in mind, but also protection. So maybe I'll do that. I'll do protection. I think I already had one of the other fighting styles at level 1, so I'm just going to pick protection in case. So there's protection. So you got second wind, weapon mastery, action surge, tactical mind. So this is like a summary of what we have. And we have the battle master, and then you get student of war, which you gain a proficiency with one type of artisan tool of your choice. And you gain proficiency in one skill of your choice from the skills available to fighters at level 1. So that's kind of a cool thing. So let's see. So I'm going to go to commit. And here's the features now. And that's it. So we're going to hit save. Okay, so this gave me a weird error message down here. It said unable to find subclass chosen. How strange is that? So let me see what this looks like. Yeah, see, it didn't give me the subclass that I chose. So that's kind of broken. So this is the kind of thing I'm talking about, is when we are going to do this, we need to make sure that we report these things. So I need to I'm going to take this and actually bring it over to the attention of Smiteworks team, because that's broken. I don't think I did anything wrong. I just think there's something that didn't grab. So I will take a screenshot and we'll call that good. And then as far as this build goes, it's kind of broken now at this point, because I don't know if I can go into subclasses and drag that over. Let me check. Maybe I can salvage it. All right, so coming over here, let's see if we can fix this. So let's go to character, and then let's go to classes, and let's go to subclasses, and let's see what happens here. I don't know if I can drag this over or not, but here's Battle Master. Yeah, that didn't work. So yeah, so that's broken. So these are just the things that you're going to get during the transformation over to the updated rule set. I'll make sure I'll get this reported to the Fantasy Grounds forum. So to do that, I'll come down here on the top left here, and then I'll do a /console, and this will give you your console errors and anything else that you might have problems with. See, this didn't report in the console, so it's some kind of goofiness maybe with the character wizard. So I'll go ahead and hit compile logs, and this will make a screenshot, or not a screenshot, but a zip file. And then I have a screenshot for them too, just so they know kind of what I've done. So yeah, so there we go. So this is why I'm doing this now, testing it, because I don't want you. You may be able to drag the subclass to the abilities page. I don't know. I'll take a look. Let's see. So fighter subclass. So it just says I gain, but it doesn't really say. Did it bring over everything? It brought over stuff, but it's just really weird. Let me see. So subclass. This was a Battle Master. Yeah, I don't know. But it didn't quite bring it, give me some kind of error. So I want to try with the drag and drop characters. So if I go to characters and then create a new character, I want to see if this works. So if I go to, let's come here and let's go to the classes, and I'm going to drag fighter over. Okay, so this is the old way of doing it. So let's go with athletics and survival. And then we get 1 feat. So let's do defense. And now I'm just going to level up the old way, dragging this one back in. So there's level 2, and it says it was added here. And then we're going to hit this, do it one more time. And here is the old way of doing this. So I'm going to go to Battle Master and hit this. So yeah, this worked. So, and then here's your maneuvers. So this is kind of what, the thing that I was looking at. So here's the pushing attack, which I wanted. This is what I was looking for. Let's go with, let's see, goading attack. You get 4 of them. Sweep attack, and let's go with parry. So this is what I was looking for. So this works in the drag and drop, but the character wizard part, there's something up with it. And then I get my proficiency, which I think I'm going to make it Smith's tools, because it's kind of related. And then you get 1 proficiency from the list below. So probably perception is what I'll do. Yeah, so doing it with the character wizard is still kind of jumbled up a little bit, but doing it manually still works. So far, anyways, that's what I've noticed. So anyhow, I'm going to report this to the Fantasy Grounds forums. So again, if you're in the middle of this, I wouldn't create a new campaign just yet. I would wait till some of the stuff is worked out. So I'll go on here and report a new thing, and realize it takes time and not everyone wants to do this, but it's the only way it's going to get fixed is if we actually report it. So anyhow, folks, that's all I have for today. I just wanted to go through the level up process, and I got to go in through the learning process and kind of learning what the little nuances are, because this could be a something that they overlooked, or maybe you found a really valid bug, or maybe you're doing something wrong. Who knows? But I'm going to go to the forums and report this and call it a day. And hopefully this kind of gives you an idea of some of the things you might be facing when you transition over. I honestly would wait another week and maybe see what happens, and pay attention to the House of Healing. See what's going on here with the changes and updates. Sometimes you might read that somebody else is having the same issue, so that's something you want to do before you update and such. And then just update regularly for a while, because I'm pretty sure that there's going to be fixes for the next couple weeks. So this is something that they'll have to smooth out on their end. So it's not all our fault, but anyways, take care, folks. Have a good one, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.